Paper 2, question 5. Mason is doing a survey to find out how many magazines people buy. He uses this question on his questionnaire. Write down 2 things wrong with this question. Okay, now there are 3 main obvious ones that I'm going to give you. As long as you put down 2 of those, you'd be right. First things first, how many magazines do you buy? Whenever you ask a question based on an amount as your answer, you need to stipulate a time period. So is that how many magazines you've bought today, yesterday, in a month, since you were born? You have to make that clear. So Mason hasn't stipulated a time frame, so no time frame given. That's one thing that's wrong with this. Secondly, if I had bought 4 magazines, then I don't know where to put the 4 because you have a repeated value. Or in other words, your choices to select in this questionnaire, they overlap each other. You can't have that. If I pick any amount of magazines, I should have one and one only place to put it in. So, overlap of values. You also have the same with the 8s as well, by the way. If I had 8 magazines, I wouldn't know where to put it. So, overlap. Magazines. As well as the fact that I need to have one and one only place to tick it. I need to make sure that the options give you even that choice of putting in one. If I bought 13 magazines, there's nowhere to put 13 because this survey only counts from 0 up to 12. So generally, you need to have 0 as the minimum option because generally in these types of questions, you'll have people that don't care about magazines or have never read one in their life, so they're 0. But you also don't know who you're going to bump into that is a magazine-aholic or whatnot. So it could be 13 or 50, it doesn't really matter. You've got to consider all those options. So the thing that's wrong with this is there's no option for bigger than 12. I'll write that in inequality. You'll find out in B why that's appropriate. So those are 3 different reasons why that survey is wrong. Part B, write a better question for Mason to use on his questionnaire to find out how many magazines people buy. All that is the 2 reasons you gave in part A. You've got to implement them and tweak the question so that it's better, basically. Given the fact that I gave you 3, I'll change all 3. First things first, I'm going to put in a time period. So how many magazines do you buy in a month? I could have chose any time frame there. As long as you stipulate one, you're fine. I need to get rid of these overlaps. So let me change that 4 to a 3 and that 8 to a 7. That solved that problem. And finally, the issue of there not being an option more than 13. Well, I could just change this to bigger than 8 if I wanted to, or all I would have to do is stick in another box and give you an option for more than 12. Entirely up to yourself. All three options there would be appropriate. C. Mason asks his friends at school to do his questionnaire. This may not be a good sample to use. Give one reason why. Generally, if you look back to the original statement, it says he's doing a survey to find out how many magazines people buy. If you have any survey that refers to people, you need to have a sample that has a selection of different types of people, so males and females, young people and old people. Depending on where you are in the world, you'd really want to be somewhere where you're going to have a selection of cultures, a selection of nationalities. Generally, the bigger the spread of types of people you have in your survey, the more accurate it would be of people. An airport is a perfect example for getting people from all over the world, young and old, because everyone travels. Schools, you've got a problem there. Your people you're asking are generally of teenage years, and in this case, to do with buying magazines, well, I don't know, maybe it might be assuming of me, but I don't know how many pupils generally at school nowadays buy magazines. We'll find out. Find out if you take this survey. But in any case, it's biased in the sense that you have a particular group of age only. There's no younger people than secondary school. There's no adults. Okay, I mean there's more adults in the world than youngsters. So you should make sure that you have a better way of sampling it. That's one of many reasons.